Good day, Chicago. Coming up now, a disturbing Facebook video that has sparked outrage all over the country. We're sitting down with an attorney about those 4 suspects here in Chicago now charged with a hate crime. And we're sitting down with an attorney about what's ahead for those 4 suspects charged with a hate crime for that disturbing Facebook torture video.
It is the video that has enraged and disgusted the entire country. That Facebook Live torture video shot right here in Chicago. The victim, a mentally disabled white teenager. The attackers, 4 African Americans who are now facing hate crime charges.
So we want to talk more now about the legal aspect of what you just saw. We are joined by Stefan Blandon of Romanucci and Blandon. Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
First question for you. You know, we throw out that term hate crime. It seems like more and more these days. What exactly constitutes a hate crime?
A hate crime, there are a group of protected classes that we have in this country and in this state. And hate crimes are designed to protect those who fall into those classes. So whether you're talking about race, religion, ethnicity, disability, as we have in this case, we want to make sure that our civil rights are protected. So when you have an individual or a group of individuals like we have in this case that come in and commit a crime of violence, that's motivated out of hate for one of those protected classes, in Illinois, that is a separate felony.
And it's going to mean more years in jail if a conviction comes of it.
It will add additional time to their sentence. There are Class 3 and Class 4 felonies.
There was quite a response to this. This story has been all over the place. Do you think that the fact that the public reacted to it the way that they did that put a little pressure on authorities to pursue this as a hate crime? Because had they not, it almost would have set this precedent that this type of behavior will be tolerated.
Well, listening to the various responses coming from the mayor to the chief of police yesterday, I think that right away they were on top of this and they knew that this was a hate crime and they wanted to put out the message that this was not going to be tolerated. And that's the whole idea behind hate crime laws, is hate causes more hate. So you have to stop it in the bud.
Okay, so that said, in the past, we have seen some high-profile cases when it comes to sexual preference and hate crimes. In this case, we're talking about somebody who's suffering from a mental disability. How does that play into this?
So exactly right. So one of the protected classes are individuals with both physical and mental disabilities. And we've all heard of bullying that takes place and that's expanded into abuse. And in this case, it sounds like that was an element that took place. And the most vulnerable amongst us need to be protected as well.
These are state hate crime charges. There are federal hate crime charges that can also happen. Those are not, they're prosecuted, but they don't get a conviction rate very often. 11%, I think, was the rate that I read in 2015. So what are these defendants up against? What kind of case do they have? And will it be working in their favor that he knew at least one of his attackers and went there willingly initially?
I think as the story unfolds, you're going to find out it's just a horrible situation. It sounds like the family was very trusting because they knew one another. They were scheduled to spend the night with each other. And how this spiraled completely out of control is just bizarre.
You heard Kristen mentioning the difference between the state and the federal charges. Is there a possibility that the Justice Department will say, hey, you know what, we want to attach charges to this as well?
So I think the Justice Department, in my limited knowledge of this area, because I primarily practice in the civil arena, they step in when the states don't. Okay. And in this case, Illinois has stepped in.
Just very quickly, these 4 people were looking for their viral moment. They got it, probably in a way they didn't expect. Is there a message being sent here that if you put this stuff out on social media, you're going to get the hammer?
Absolutely. There's no room for this, and if you're going to try and have your 5 minutes of fame from doing this, then you're going to pay a very stiff price.
Stefan Blandon, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
We'll be right back.